Do you see any changes in the distribution system for the future, major ones? Are you going to continue? I mean, it's hard to say that in front of a whole huge, you're not going to say, we're not going to use travel agents anymore. But I get a sense that it's actually the tide is turning the other way.
Yeah.
Jennifer, I mean, what, from your perspective?
We have had despite all of the threats that the travel agent is going away and the death knell, quite the opposite. What we see is a lot more sophisticated. You all are here. I mean, this incredibly sophisticated group of travel agents who can, again, tailor the right program because they have a deeper understanding of who the customer is. And so, as we've seen disintermediation with OTAs or just more home-based agents, we have to change the way that we communicate with the travel agent community, but I don't see that changing at all.
No, certainly the structure has changed, and I've been watching this. I created a whole magazine focused on home-based agents at one point, and now it's like an agent is an agent wherever they work, and I can't even say they're at home. They're usually on a cruise, but that's right. Another, right? You guys are.
We like that.
Or a tour, or in a hotel inspecting. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think the thing that's probably changed the most is the retail aspect of a storefront. And it's still prevalent in parts of the country. We have lots of agencies, particularly in the Midwest. But in a place like New York City, it would be less of the case. More home-based agents, more available on the phone. I think, contrary to everything that the Bureau of Labor Statistics continues to put out about the decline of number of full-time positions in the travel agency industry, that runs counter to our experience. In fact, I think the bulk of agents joining our business are either new to the industry, straight out of sort of school, looking for their first career, or in a lot of cases, second career folks. Either moms who've been stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, or folks leaving their primary professions, whether they're lawyers, investment bankers. We've run the gamut, so it's been fascinating to see people look for an environment where they can pursue their passion, have the tools available to them, and actually connect with people to kind of design experiences that exceed their expectations. So fabulous from my perspective.
Well, I mean, I keep telling everybody, you guys are, you got the best jobs. You believe it or not, in their days you're not going to think that, but if you're good, you're selling something everybody likes.
Yep.
Your hours, if you're home-based or independent, is your hours, which are long, by the way, anytime you want. And you can travel as well as your clients sometimes because you have to go out and try the products. And by the way, you can earn 6 figures.
That's right. I mean, I suspect January 4th, in the middle of that whole JFK weekend debacle, wasn't the most pleasant time to be talking to your customers, but it's also where they earned, essentially, their accolades for being able to help their customers.
No, and there are going to be those glitches, but that's what you're there for. And if you had booked online or with the airline,
correct.
Good luck.
That's
right. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
No.
Sorry.
Somebody, either one of you.
We see the travel agency channel just getting stronger and stronger. So we've been working really hard to get away from price as I think the industry for a while, we got to price as the lead story, price, and we all know that only ends up with price going one way. And so we've been really pushing hard to get away from price, get to the experience, get to the value, get to a more inclusive experience. And the only way to tell that story is through the travel agency. You can't tell that story online. You need to be in front of somebody, talking to someone to talk about the experience. This is, for most people, the most important week of their life. And so the idea that price is the most important component of that is terrible. It shouldn't be.
But it still continues to be in many cases. People are going to look at a price and they say, and that's the biggest problem with agents have is.
I think that's why together we're more powerful, though. If we can together get away from price and talk about the experience that the consumer's going to have, the value they're going to derive from this most important week in the 52, then that's a recipe for success. This idea that is going to be price is a recipe for disaster. So we've really been pushing that. And we see that strengthening the travel agency distribution channel, and as a result, strengthening the industry.
Right. And Guy?
Yeah, I mean, for the Travel Corporation across our brands, travel agents account for 90% of our business. So we are really joined to the hip with travel agents. And we see that channel growing faster than any other channel, including our direct channel. So we certainly believe in the travel agency distribution model. Our products are, high-ticket items. There's obviously oftentimes a lot of different components. There's usually an international flight involved. So we really see the value of a travel agent, communicating that to the guest, and also explain the very high value that we deliver on our different products. But what's been fascinating, I'll pick up on what Nana said, is that the home-based agency market to me has been just phenomenal. And I met over the last couple of days with two heads of a big home-based agency and one franchise agency. And what was fascinating about it, they bring in literally hundreds of new agents every year into the business. And the one host agency owner told me that 70% of the people they bring in are totally new to travel. So literally you have every year thousands of new agents coming into the business. Now, obviously they're not coming with a book of business. They might need to learn more about the industry, but they're all super enthusiastic. They have a love for travel. And how great is it for us as suppliers to have thousands of new agents every year promoting the industry, and over time will become very productive agents. I mean, we have home-based agents that on one brand alone are selling over $1 million in revenue. So, I mean, it's a fantastic channel, one we totally believe in.
Well, it's one of the things a few years ago, everybody was wondering where the travel agents of the future are going to come from, and that the industry was kind of dying out. And, and I was there back in the 90s when airlines cut commissions, and, it was you go to agent meetings and there were a lot of older people who were wondering, what's going to be the future and who's going to come in. But I think we've solved that issue.
Yeah.
And James, I think this plays back to a point also on when you talked about technology earlier, which is, I think we're now 20 years into, obviously, the internet, certainly in travel. And if you sort of think about its phenomenal success, because it's undoubtedly successful, part of the challenge is, certainly from a travel standpoint, the web's really phenomenally effective at finding you the lowest price on anything, whether it's a diamond, a bulldozer, or a cruise cabin. So part of the challenge with all of that is I think we've yet to get to the point where technology is able to, in a way that's seamless, discriminate and kind of match the right product to the consumer. And this is, again, where, to pick up on one of Andy's points, I think with this experiential shift in travel, I think we are at the point where people are starting to value their time and the memory that's created in the experience they have slowly, as much as kind of what the trigger price is for a particular product, because you really come away with something that you'll remember, as opposed to, I found a cheap, a $99 fare to London or whatever else it might be.
And it's just one last point. It's complicated. I mean, if you as a travel agent just said, hey, all I'm going to do is support the five of us up here, it would be really complicated to understand the detail of what all of us do. And then you think about all the other brands and companies out there. It's very complicated. Our teams struggle to keep up with just where our ships are and what categories we have and how it all comes together. So imagine the consumer trying to navigate all of that. It's very complicated. So it's
even with the help of TripAdvisor.
Yeah, right.
Particularly with the help of TripAdvisor.